What happens when a young man runs from poverty, only to find that success means nothing without the people who loved him first? Will he recognize what truly matters before it's too late? Sit back, grab your popcorn, and find out as we dive into this shocking true life story. In a small village in Nigeria, there lived a young man named Ryan. He was 23 years old, tall and strong, with dreams bigger than the dusty roads he walked on every day. But Ryan was tired. Tired of the poverty that stuck to his family like stubborn mud after rain. His mother, Helen, was sick, very sick. She coughed through the night, the sound echoing off the thin walls of their small mud house. During the day, she would sit outside on a wooden stool, trying to catch her breath, her thin body wrapped in an old wrapper that had lost its color from too many washes. Ryan watched her sometimes, his jaw tight with frustration. "Ryan, my son," Helen would call weakly, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes, Mama," he would answer, not looking at her. "Don't worry about me. Just focus on finding a better life." Ryan would nod. But inside, something dark was growing. He was ashamed. Ashamed of their house with its leaking roof. Ashamed of the way neighbors whispered when they passed by. "That's Helen's son," they would say. "The one whose father died and left them with nothing but debts." One evening, Ryan sat with his mother after she had finished eating the little rice he had bought. She looked at him with eyes full of love. "Ryan, you are a good boy. God will bless you one day." Ryan forced a smile. "Mama, I'm trying my best." "I know. My son, I know." But Ryan wasn't just trying. He was planning to leave, planning to run from the village that reminded him every day of everything he didn't have. His father had died 2 years ago, leaving them with debts they couldn't pay. Neighbors had started avoiding them. Some even demanded their money back, shouting at Helen until she cried. Ryan couldn't take it anymore. That night, after Helen had gone to sleep, Ryan packed a small bag. He moved quietly, his hands shaking slightly as he folded his few clothes. He placed 500 naira on the table, all the money he had left. He stood at the door, looking back at his mother sleeping on the mat. Her breathing was shallow, broken by small coughs even in her sleep. "I'm sorry, Mama," he whispered, "but I can't die here like Papa. I can't." He walked out into the dark night, closing the door softly behind him. His heart was heavy, but his mind was made up. By morning, he would be on a bus to Lagos, far away from the village that had become his prison. Helen woke up the next morning to silence, the kind of silence that feels wrong. "Ryan?" She called out, her voice hoarse. "Ryan, my son." No answer. She tried to sit up, her body weak from illness. "Ryan?" Slowly, painfully, she stood and walked to where Ryan usually slept. His mat was empty, his few belongings were gone. Helen's hand flew to her chest as panic rose inside her. She looked around frantically and saw the money on the table. 500 naira. That was all. "No, no, no," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "Ryan, where are you?" She stumbled outside, calling his name. Neighbors came out, watching with pity in their eyes. "Sister Helen, what is wrong?" one woman asked. "My son Ryan, he's gone." The women exchanged glances with others. They had seen him leave in the night with his bag but said nothing. It was not their place to interfere. Helen collapsed on the ground, crying, "My son has left me. What did I do wrong?" The days that followed were dark for Helen. She waited every day, hoping Ryan would come back, but he never did. The debts her husband left behind still haunted her. Creditors came demanding their money. "Your son has run away and left you to suffer," one man said cruelly. "You people will never amount to anything." Helen could only cry. Weeks turned into months, with no money coming in and her health failing. Helen made a decision that broke her heart. She sold the little plot of land they had, paid off some debts, and used what was left to travel to Lagos. "Maybe I will find him," she told herself. "Maybe in the city. I can at least see his face one more time before I die." But Lagos was not kind to Helen. She arrived with almost no money and no idea where to start looking for her son. The city was too big, too loud, too expensive. She slept under bridges, begged for food, and eventually found work as a street cleaner, sweeping the roads for a few hundred naira a day. Every morning, Helen would wake up at 4 a.m., take her broom, and sweep the streets while wealthy people drove past in their cars. She never complained. She never cursed. She just prayed. "God, let me see my son again," she would whisper. "Let me know he is alive." 5 years had passed. Ryan was no longer the village boy who ran away in shame. He had worked hard, very hard. He started as a factory worker, then moved to a logistics company, and eventually got a job in a multinational oil company. Now at 28, Ryan wore expensive suits, drove a sleek black car, and lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in Lekki. He spoke fluent English, moved with confidence, and had become the man he always dreamed of being. But there was one thing he never spoke about: his past. When colleagues asked about his family, Ryan would smile and change the subject. "My family is complicated," he would say vaguely. One colleague, a man named Samuel, noticed this and tried to ask once, "Ryan guy, you never talk about your people. Where are they in the village?" Ryan's face hardened. "I don't have anyone, Sam. I'm on my own." Samuel didn't push further. Something in Ryan's tone said the conversation was closed. Deep inside, Ryan thought about his mother sometimes. Late at night, when the city was quiet, her face would appear in his mind. Her tired smile, her gentle voice saying, "Don't worry about me, my son." But Ryan would push the thoughts away. "She's probably dead by now," he would tell himself coldly. "And even if she's alive, what can I do? Go back to that poverty? Never." One rainy Tuesday morning, Ryan was late for an important meeting with international clients. He had overslept and was now speeding through the streets of Lagos, his phone ringing nonstop. "Yes, I'm on my way," he barked into the phone. "Tell them I'll be there in 10 minutes. He cut the call and pressed harder on the accelerator. The rain was heavy, turning the roads into rivers of muddy water. Street cleaners in orange vests worked along the roadside, sweeping garbage despite the downpour. Ryan barely noticed them. They were invisible to him. Poor people doing poor people's work. As he sped past one section, his car hit a large puddle, sending a massive wave of dirty water splashing onto a group of cleaners. "Stupid people," Ryan muttered, not even slowing down. Always in the way. But something made him glance in the rearview mirror. He saw one of the cleaners, an old woman, wiping her face slowly. She didn't shout. She didn't curse. She just stood there, bent over, water dripping from her worn clothes. Ryan's foot eased off the gas. Something about that gesture, the way she moved, his heart began to race. He slowed the car further, his eyes fixed on the mirror. The old woman bent down again to pick up her broom. Her movements were slow, painful, and then she turned slightly, and Ryan saw her face. Time stopped. The world around him became silent. The rain, the horns, the noise, all of it faded. "No," Ryan whispered, his hands gripping the steering wheel. "No, it can't be." But he knew that face. Even after 5 years, even through the dirt and exhaustion, he knew those eyes. It was his mother. Ryan's hands began to shake. He pulled the car to the side of the road, his breath coming in short gasps. "Mama," he whispered to himself. That's Mama." He sat frozen for a moment, his mind refusing to accept what his eyes had seen. Then, without thinking, he opened the door and stepped out into the rain. He walked slowly back toward the group of street cleaners, his expensive shoes sinking into the mud. People stared at him. A man in a suit walking through the rain like he had lost his mind. Helen was bent over, sweeping debris into a pile. She didn't notice him approaching. "Mama," Ryan said quietly. Helen didn't look up. She thought someone was calling another cleaner. "Mama," Ryan said again, louder this time, his voice breaking. Helen stopped. Slowly, she straightened her back and turned around. Her eyes, tired and dim, met his. For a long moment, they just stared at each other. Helen's lips trembled. Ryan? Ryan's eyes filled with tears. He couldn't speak. He just nodded. Helen dropped her broom. My son, is that really you? Ryan fell to his knees in the mud. Tears streaming down his face. Mama, it's me. It's me. Helen stumbled toward him, her hand reaching out to touch his face as if to make sure he was real. Ryan, my son, you came back. Mama, I'm so sorry. Ryan sobbed, holding her rough, work-worn hands. I'm so sorry. I left you. I abandoned you. I was wicked. I was a fool. Helen's tears mixed with the rain on her face. She touched his cheek gently, just like she used to when he was a child. You're alive, that's all that matters. You're alive! Mama, what are you doing here? Why are you cleaning streets? Ryan's voice was filled with anguish. Helen smiled weakly. I came to Lagos to find you. But the city is big and I had no money this work. It keeps me alive. Ryan felt like his chest was being crushed. I have money, Mama, I have everything. And you've been here suffering because of me. Don't cry, my son, Helen said softly. A mother never stops loving her child, even when they leave. Even when they forget. Ryan shook his head violently. I didn't forget, Mama, I tried to, but I couldn't, every night. I saw your face, I was too proud. Too ashamed to come back. Other street cleaners had gathered around, watching the scene. Some wiped tears from their own eyes. Ryan stood up, still holding his mother's hands. Mama! You're not sweeping streets anymore, you're coming home with me today, right now. Helen looked at him, confused. Home? But please, Mama, Ryan begged. Let me take care of you. Let me make up for what I did. Please. Helen nodded slowly, fresh tears falling. Okay, my son. Okay. Ryan helped his mother into his car, not caring that her wet, muddy clothes soaked the expensive leather seats. He took off his suit jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders. As he drove, Helen looked around the car in wonder. This is yours? She asked quietly. Yes, Mama. You've done well, my son. Ryan's throat tightened. I did well for myself but forgot the person who made me. What kind of success is that? Helen didn't answer. She just looked out the window, watching the city pass by. When they arrived at Ryan's apartment in Lekki, Helen couldn't believe her eyes. The building was tall and modern, with security guards and a gate. You live here? She whispered. Yes, Mama. And now you live here too. Ryan helped her out of the car and led her upstairs. When he opened the door to his apartment, Helen stood at the entrance, overwhelmed. The floors were shiny. The furniture looked expensive. Everything was clean and modern. Nothing like the mud house she had left behind in the village. Come in, Mama, Ryan said gently. Helen stepped inside slowly. Her dirty feet leaving marks on the floor. She looked down, ashamed. I'm making your house dirty. I don't care about the floor, Ryan said firmly. Please, sit down. Let me get you something to eat. Helen sat carefully on the edge of the sofa. Afraid to touch anything, Ryan went to the kitchen and brought out bread, tea, and some rice he had cooked the night before. Eat, Mama, please. Helen ate slowly, tears streaming down her face with every bite. It's been so long since I had a proper meal. Ryan watched her, his own tears falling silently. He had been eating well every day while his mother starved on the streets. After she finished eating, Ryan ran a bath for her and gave her clean clothes. When Helen came out, washed and dressed, she looked more like the mother he remembered, though much older and frailer. That night, Ryan made her sleep in his bed while he slept on the sofa. He couldn't sleep though. He kept thinking about everything. How he had run away. How his mother had suffered. How close he had come to never seeing her again. The next morning, Ryan woke up early and made breakfast. When Helen came out of the room, she looked better, rested, though still weak. Good morning, Mama, Ryan said, smiling. Good morning, my son. They sat together at the table, eating in comfortable silence. Then Helen spoke. Ryan, I need to tell you something. Ryan looked up. What is it, Mama? Helen hesitated. I'm very sick. The coughing, the weakness, it's getting worse. Ryan's face went pale. What do you mean? What's wrong? I don't know exactly. I never had money to see a proper doctor, but I feel it. My body is failing. Ryan stood up immediately. We're going to the hospital today. Right now. But, no buts, Mama, please. At the hospital. A private clinic Ryan could now afford. Helen underwent several tests. The doctor, a middle-aged woman named Dr. Martha, spoke to Ryan privately afterward. Your mother has advanced tuberculosis, Dr. Martha said seriously. It's treatable, but she's been living with it untreated for years. Her body is very weak. Ryan felt his knees go weak. Will she be okay? With proper medication, rest, and nutrition. Yes, but it will take time. She needs to stay here for a while. Whatever it costs, Ryan said firmly. Whatever she needs, please save her. Dr. Martha smiled gently. We'll do our best. Helen stayed in the hospital for 3 weeks. Ryan visited her every single day after work, sometimes spending the entire evening by her bedside. One evening, Helen looked at him with sad eyes. Ryan, you don't have to do this, you have your own life. Ryan shook his head. Mama, you are my life. I forgot that once. I won't forget again. But the money. The hospital bills. I have money because of you. Mama, you suffered so I could go to school. You went hungry so I could eat. This is nothing compared to what you gave me. Helen reached out and held his hand. I'm proud of you. My son, even when you left, I was still proud. I knew you would become someone. Ryan's eyes filled with tears. I'm not proud of myself, Mama. I abandoned you when you needed me most. I was selfish and wicked. No, Helen said firmly, her voice stronger than it had been in days. You were young and confused. We all make mistakes. What matters is that you came back. You found me. Only by accident, Ryan whispered. If my car hadn't splashed water on you, if I hadn't looked back, Mama, I would have driven past my own mother without knowing. Helen squeezed his hand. But you did look back. God made you look back. That's what matters. When Helen was finally discharged, Ryan took her to his apartment and converted his bedroom into hers. He bought a new bed, new clothes, and made sure she had everything she needed. He also hired a woman named Anna to help take care of her during the day while he was at work. Anna was a kind older woman who had also lost her own children. She and Helen became fast friends. Your son is a good man, Anna told Helen one afternoon while they sat together. Not many children remember their parents these days. Helen smiled. He made a mistake, but he came back. That's all a mother can ask for. Months passed. Helen's health improved slowly. The medication was working. And with proper food and rest, she was getting stronger. One evening, Ryan came home from work and found Helen in the kitchen trying to cook. Mama, what are you doing? You should be resting. Helen laughed, a sound Ryan hadn't heard in years. I'm tired of resting. I want to cook for my son. Is that a crime? Ryan smiled, his heart full. Okay, Mama, but let me help you. Together they cooked jollof rice and chicken, laughing and talking like they used to when Ryan was a child. As they ate, Helen looked at Ryan seriously. There's something I want you to do for me. Anything. Mama, go back to the village, visit your father's grave. Make peace with where you came from. Ryan's smile faded. Mama, I don't want to go back there. Those people are still your people, Helen interrupted gently. Running from your past doesn't make it disappear. You need to face it, accept it, and move forward. Ryan was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. Okay, Mama, if that's what you want, I'll go. The following weekend, Ryan drove back to the village. It was the first time in 5 years. As he drove down the familiar dusty roads, memories flooded back, some good, some painful. When he reached his old house, he sat in the car for a moment, gathering courage. The house was falling apart now, abandoned and overgrown with weeds. Ryan stepped out and walked toward it slowly. Neighbors started coming out, staring in disbelief. Is that Ryan? One woman whispered. Helen's son. The one who ran away? Ryan ignored them and walked to the small cemetery behind the house where his father was buried. The grave was simple, marked only by a wooden cross. Ryan knelt down, tears streaming down his face. Papa, he whispered, I'm sorry I ran away. But I'm taking care of Mama now, I promise you. She will never suffer again. He stayed there for a long time, crying and talking to his father's spirit. When he finally stood up, some of the villagers had gathered nearby, watching. One old man stepped forward, Elder Samuel, who had been his father's friend. Ryan, the old man said, you've come back. Ryan nodded. Yes, sir. Your mother, is she alive? Yes, sir, she's with me in Lagos, she's getting better. Elder Samuel smiled, tears in his old eyes. Thank God, we thought she had died. No one heard from her after she left. Ryan felt shame wash over him. I abandoned her, Elder, I was foolish. The old man placed a hand on Ryan's shoulder. You were young. What matters is that you found your way back. That's what makes a man, not perfection, but the courage to return and make things right. Ryan returned to Lagos with a lighter heart. He had faced his past, and though it was painful, Helen had been right. He needed it. But life had more tests waiting for him. 2 weeks after his village visit, Ryan received a call that would change everything. His boss, Mr. Alex, wanted to see him urgently. Ryan walked into the office nervously. Mr. Alex was seated behind his large desk, his face serious. Ryan, sit down. Yes, sir. Ryan's heart was pounding. Had he done something wrong? Mr. Alex leaned forward. I've been watching you these past few months. You've been leaving work early, taking calls during meetings, seeming distracted. Ryan swallowed hard. Sir, I can explain. Is everything okay at home? Mr. Alex interrupted, his voice softer now. Ryan hesitated. He had never told anyone at work about his mother. Sir, my mother, she's been very sick. I found her after many years, and I've been taking care of her. Mr. Alex's expression changed completely. Your mother? Tell me more. Ryan told him everything, how he had abandoned her, how he found her cleaning streets, how sick she had been. As he spoke, tears filled his eyes. When he finished, Mr. Alex was quiet for a long moment. Then he stood up and walked to the window. Ryan, I lost my mother 5 years ago, Mr. Alex said, his voice heavy with emotion. She died while I was traveling for business. I never got to say goodbye. I never got to tell her I loved her one last time. He turned to face Ryan. You have a second chance that I never got. Don't you dare apologize for taking care of your mother. In fact, I'm giving you flexible working hours. Spend time with her, these moments are precious. Ryan was shocked. Sir, I thank you. Thank you so much. Just promise me one thing, Mr. Alex said, placing a hand on Ryan's shoulder. Never take her for granted again. I won't. Sir, I promise. That evening, Ryan came home excited to share the good news with Helen. But when he entered the apartment, he found Anna looking worried. What's wrong? Ryan asked immediately. Your mother. She collapsed this afternoon. She's resting now. But Ryan, she was coughing blood. Ryan's world stopped. Blood? Where is she? He rushed to the bedroom and found Helen lying on the bed, her face pale and drawn. She opened her eyes weakly when she heard him. Ryan, my son. Mama, Anna said you were coughing blood. We need to go back to the hospital right now. Helen shook her head slowly. No, my son, I'm just tired. Mama, please, I can't lose you, not now, not after everything. Helen saw the fear in his eyes and nodded. Okay, if it will make you happy. At the hospital, Dr. Martha ran more tests. When she called Ryan into her office, her face was grave. Ryan, your mother's condition has worsened. The tuberculosis has spread to her lungs more aggressively. She needs intensive treatment immediately. Then give it to her. I'll pay for anything. It's not about money, Dr. Martha said gently. Her body is very weak. The years of malnutrition and untreated illness have taken their toll. We'll do everything we can. But you need to prepare yourself. Ryan felt like the ground was opening beneath him. No, she's going to be fine. She has to be fine. Helen stayed in the hospital for 2 months. Ryan barely left her side. He took time off work, slept in a chair next to her bed, and held her hand through the difficult treatments. One night, when Helen was sleeping, Samuel came to visit. He had heard about Helen's condition from Ryan's colleagues. "Guy, you look terrible," Samuel said, handing Ryan some food. "When was the last time you ate properly?" Ryan shrugged. "I don't know. I can't think about food when Mama is like this." Samuel sat down beside him. "You know, I never told you this, but I envied you." Ryan looked at him in surprise. "Envied me? Why?" "Because even though you made mistakes, you came back, you made things right. My own father died 5 years ago. And I hadn't spoken to him in 3 years because of a stupid argument. I never got to apologize. I never got to tell him I loved him." Samuel's voice cracked. "Don't waste the time you have with her, Ryan, even if it's painful. These moments are precious." Ryan nodded, tears streaming down his face. "Thank you for coming, Sam." After Samuel left, Ryan sat holding his mother's hand, watching her chest rise and fall with each difficult breath. "God," he whispered, "I know I don't deserve any favors. I abandoned her when she needed me, but please don't take her from me now. Give me more time to make things right." Slowly, with aggressive treatment and constant care, Helen began to improve. The doctors were amazed at her resilience. "Your mother is a fighter," Dr. Martha told Ryan one morning. "I've seen younger patients give up. But she keeps fighting." When Helen was finally strong enough to talk properly, Ryan asked her something that had been weighing on his mind. "Mama, how did you survive those years on the street? How did you not give up?" Helen smiled weakly. "Every morning, I would wake up and tell myself, maybe today I will see my son. Maybe today God will answer my prayers." That hope kept me alive." Ryan broke down crying. "I'm so sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry." "Hush, my son," Helen said, wiping his tears with her thin hand. "You're here now. That's all that matters." After 3 months, Helen was finally discharged from the hospital. This time, she was truly recovering. The doctors said with continued care and medication, she could live many more years. Ryan threw a small celebration at home. He invited Anna, Samuel, Mr. Alex, and even Dr. Martha. They all came bearing gifts and well wishes for Helen. As they sat around eating and laughing, Helen looked at all the people who had helped her son, and tears filled her eyes. "Thank you," she said to everyone. "Thank you for taking care of my son when I couldn't." Mr. Alex raised his glass. "Mrs. Helen, your son is a good man. You raised him well. Even after he left me." Helen asked with a sad smile. "Especially after he came back," Mr. Alex replied. "It takes courage to admit mistakes and make them right. That's the mark of true character." That evening, after everyone had left, Ryan and Helen sat together on the balcony, watching the sunset over Lagos. "Thank you, Mama," Ryan said quietly. "For what, my son?" "For never giving up on me. For still loving me even after I left you. For fighting to stay alive so we could have this second chance." Helen smiled and patted his hand. "A mother's love doesn't die. Ryan, no matter what, even when you were gone. Even when I was sweeping streets, I never stopped praying for you. I never stopped loving you." Ryan looked at her, his heart full of gratitude and love. "I promise you, Mama, you will never lack anything again. I will take care of you for the rest of your life." Helen's eyes filled with tears, but they were tears of joy. "That's all I ever wanted. My son, not your money, not your success. Just your love." From that day forward, Ryan made sure to visit his mother every evening, no matter how busy he was. He also started a small charity in the village, helping other families who were struggling like his had struggled. And every time he drove past street cleaners now, he would slow down and remember. Remember the day his mother's bent figure taught him the most important lesson of his life. That pride means nothing when you lose the people who loved you before you had anything to be proud of. Thank you so much for watching and joining me on this emotional journey. I appreciate your time and attention. And I hope this story has touched your heart and reminded you of what truly matters in life. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever taken someone for granted? How did you make it right? Share your story with us. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, stay blessed and stay humble.